Finally, it's here. The Ford Ranger Raptor. September 2018. Ford launched the first-gen Ford Ranger Raptor. And ever since then, no one has come close to matching the badassery that it delivered. When Ford launches a Raptor, you can expect that they will really launch it. Like literally. I was also able to drive and ride shotgun on the first Ranger Raptor when it launched back in 2018. It was a pretty hardcore course. Definitely not something that your average pickup would be able to handle. We launched it several feet in the air, and it's a surreal feeling jumping several feet in the air and feeling like you're landing on pillows. The suspension of the Ranger Raptor is unmatched when it comes to absorbing impact. We also did high-speed Baja driving, power slides, a bit of submarine action. The truck felt like it could take everything you throw at it and not break a sweat. It was truly a performance truck that had no equal in the Philippines. It was also nice that it looked as rugged as it actually was. I named it the best pickup in the Philippines for 3 years in a row, up until it was discontinued. Because no one really released a model that directly competes with it, even until now. Ford could have just kept the first one going indefinitely as it had no competition, but they decided to one-up themselves and release a new Ranger Raptor. So the question that we all asked prior to this launch is, what's going to be underneath the hood of the new Ranger Raptor? So in Australia and other territories, they got a V6. Here in the Philippines, we still get the same 2-liter bi-turbo engine as the previous generation. Now, like most of you, I was also looking forward to the V6. But to keep the price close to the price of the previous Ranger, they had to go with a diesel. Also, Filipinos really love diesels. The previous Ranger Raptor was sufficiently powered anyway, at least for off-road driving, so it made economic sense. Anyway, if the Ranger Raptor doesn't get a V6, I think we should all forget about the V6 coming here at all. Not for the Everest and not for the other models. So unlike the previous generation, the cosmetic differences between the regular Ranger and the Ranger Raptor are not as drastic. So the previous Ranger Raptor was 6 inches wider than the regular Ranger. The new Ranger Raptor is actually the same width as the previous Ranger Raptor. But because the all-new Ranger Wildtrak is about 2 inches wider, the difference in width between the new Ranger Raptor and the new Ranger is not as pronounced. The new Ranger Raptor is still noticeably wider, but gone are the Cobra-like fender bulges of the old Raptor, which extended way past the headlights. The new Ranger Raptor is 110mm or about 4 inches wider than the regular Ranger, while the previous Ranger Raptor was almost 6 inches wider. The new Ranger Raptor gets the same wheel and tire size as the previous one. It still gets 17-inch wheels, wrapped in huge 285/70 R17 tires, which are the biggest and most aggressive tires that you can get on a stock pickup. Like the previous Ranger Raptor and like the F-150 Raptor, the new Ranger Raptor also gets the FORD grille. The bumper of the Ranger Raptor is made of plastic and is also distinctly separate from the body, so you can get independent chassis and body flex without destroying anything. One thing that I just noticed is that the Ranger Raptor no longer comes with side box steps, which I guess helps improve the departure angle. By the way, the departure angle of the Ranger Raptor is 27 degrees, while the approach angle is 32 degrees. The breakover angle is 24 degrees. Now, these are numbers that should matter to you if you go off-roading. If you're not into off-roading, just know that you're not gonna scrape the front or rear bumper of the Ranger Raptor on any driveway that you can find. Now, because this is a Ranger Raptor, expect more than just tire and cosmetic upgrades. The entire suspension is different compared to the regular Ranger, but also a bit different from the one that they get overseas. It features longer aluminum suspension arms at the front with 2.5-inch Fox shocks on all four corners. The rear is a solid rear axle with Watts linkage. Like the previous Ranger Raptor, this gets coil springs instead of leaf springs at the back. Now, unlike the Ranger Raptor that they get in Australia, we do not get adaptive dampers. The Ranger Raptor gets plenty of underbody protection to make sure that nothing gets damaged when you're off-roading. It gets a 2.5mm steel bash plate. It also gets protection for the fuel tank and other important components underneath the vehicle. The chassis has been reinforced so it can handle those jumps without flexing or bending. So you get plenty of orange accents inside the Ford Ranger Raptor. You get the characteristic orange accent on top of the steering wheel. The steering wheel itself is wrapped in leather. You get magnesium alloy paddle shifters. So the seats are unique to the Ranger Raptor. They're a mix of leather and velour. You also have Raptor badging over here. You have these slim looking headrests over here. So both front seats are power adjustable. Like the Wild Track, this gets a 12-inch screen in portrait mode. You also get a 12-inch instrument cluster. So you get basically the same electronic features as the Wild Track. You get ADAS here, you get adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, automatic emergency braking. Unlike the previous Ranger Raptor, which lacked ADAS features, this comes with everything that the Wild Track gets. You also get a wireless phone charger over here. You got dual zone climate control. You got the same electronic shifter as the Wild Track. You got an electronic parking brake, and like the Wild Track, the auto hold button is on the screen itself. You got this dial as well for selecting your drive modes. Yeah, so basically it's the same as the Ranger Wild Track except for the orange accents and the seats and the steering wheel. Okay, so we're now at the back seat of the Ranger Raptor. This is very similar to the Ranger Wild Track. You also get dual air con vents over here, 2 USB ports, one of which is a USB-C port, and you also get an AC power outlet. The downside of having the softer rear suspension of the Ranger Raptor is that it gets a lower payload capacity. The Ranger Raptor has a payload capacity of 750 kilograms. The Ranger though has the biggest bed in its class, which is more than enough space to fit our sponsor for today. Introducing the AtoSport Mobility Scooter. The world's most innovative mobility scooter. It folds into a small suitcase size and it has wheels so you can move it around like a trolley. It separates into 2 parts. It has leather seats and grips, an illuminated LCD dashboard, enhanced lighting for extra visibility. You can install optional armrests. It's perfect for seniors as it's easy to lift and unfolds in seconds. It has a maximum speed of 10 kph, shock-absorbing, flat-free tires, high ground clearance, advanced braking system. Be free to travel anywhere, land, sea, or air. It has 20 kilometers of continuous driving range. Engineered with flair, designed with passion for performance. Be active, be free, be yourself. Atto Sport, moving life. Ford prepared the track to show off the capabilities of the Ranger Raptor. It's not quite as hardcore as the previous track back in 2018, but enough to demonstrate the capabilities of the Ranger Raptor. With that said, it still goes pretty hard. To get the adrenaline pumping, the track starts off on a high note, the jump. Now imagine hitting a road hump the size of a small hill at 60 kph, going airborne for a couple of seconds, and then hitting the ground again. Now try to imagine that without saying, ouch, my back hurts.
Yeah, all the way. Going. Yeah. Perfect. Brake a bit. Yeah. Then into the water. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Hard to imagine, but the landing was soft and pillowy for the Ranger Raptor. But that's the Ranger Raptor's Fox shocks and high suspension travel in action. Next, we did some articulation tests. Now we got stuck at some point because we forgot to engage the rear differential lock, which also demonstrates how important it is to have a differential lock for off-roading.
Oh, sorry, forgot to turn this on. There you go. Okay, go ahead. Straight again. Then we'll go left. So we want to go that way. Pretty deep, huh?
Yeah.
Take it up and then right. Yeah, so you can also follow your camera here. Yeah, and then we'll shoot to that. Yeah. So
One new feature of the Ranger Raptor is the 360 camera. And having a 360 camera is not just convenient, it's a game changer for off-roading. You don't have to rely on spotters so much anymore, and you know where your tires are, even though you're looking straight up at the sky.
The auto hold, you'd have to enable it. Yeah, so we'll keep going. So, diba? Because we can't see anything anymore. So, brake here, full stop. Then hill descent.
Now here with us, the hill descent control of the Ranger Raptor.
The toggle switch for the cruise control, just pull it down.
I'm not stepping on the brakes or the gas here. The vehicle is automatically applying the brakes itself.
If you want to move a little faster, see.
The Ranger Raptor also has a new feature called Trail Control, which is like adaptive cruise control for off-roading. It automatically controls the brake and gas pedals, so you can concentrate on steering the vehicle.
When we get in, you can deactivate
And then we do a bit of water wading. Now forget off-roading for a while and imagine the practical and romantic applications for this. Let's say you ask a girl out, she lives in a flood-prone area, she asks you, pwede ba yan sa baha? And you answer, pwedeng pwede. According to Ford Australia, the Ranger Raptor has a water wading depth of 850 millimeters, which makes sense since it's about 1.5 inches taller than the Wildtrak, which has a water wading depth of 800 millimeters. The all-new Ranger Raptor sells for 2,339,000 pesos. I think that's ridiculous value for money for what is essentially the only high-performance off-road pickup in the market. So that's the new Ford Ranger Raptor. The worst thing that you can say about it is that it's just as badass as before. And that's not at all a bad thing. Do watch out for my full in-depth review in the near future. In the meantime, subscribe to be updated.